I'm Garrett.
And I'm Kit.
And this is a very special episode of Movie Night where we will be reviewing the Academy Award nominees for Best Picture. Let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start out with Spotlight, which is actually both of our picks for Best Picture. So, Kit, do you want to give them a summary?
Absolutely. A group of investigative journalists from the Boston Globe dig into reports of sexual abuse and subsequent cover-ups in the Catholic Church in the early 2000s.
Alright, so Kit, what did you think of this movie? Why do you think it's going to win Best Picture?
I think it's going to win Best Picture because it's the most heavy topic, and it's the topic that's going to stay with people the most. I think that there are really dramatic, really important pieces this year in films, but this one is so realistic, and it's such this simple story with that every aspect of it. The acting is great, the writing is great, the movement of the film itself is amazing, and it's the only one that I'm still thinking about, and that's what I'm basing my pick off of.
As kind of this, it doesn't have the sterilization that a lot of journalistic stories have taken on. I think it has that kind of, that really muckraking investigative journalist spunk that is very reminiscent of All the President's Men with Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford.
Yeah, I could see that.
Next, we'll be reviewing Room. Kit?
A mother and her young son, held captive in a small room for years on end, deal with the time their lives were locked away, and with what the world outside might hold.
Okay, so this is, I think, the most unique film that is in the Best Picture. Even more unique than Mad Max, which is saying something.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Kit, you said ultimately you think it's an uplifting story, and I definitely agree with that. So, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think when you first hear about what this movie is about, two people held in a room for their entire life, it doesn't sound uplifting. That sounds terrifying. It sounds like a horror movie. But really, how it focuses, I think, is what's so great about this film. It focuses on their minds and how they think of what they call room. It's just room. And for the kid, that's his entire life.
Ultimately, it's a story about mother and son. It's about how we build our relationships, not just with our family, but as a whole, how we all look at each other. Mm-hmm. And the little microcosm that Room offers is really like Room, not as in the title of the film, but as in the room itself, is incredibly powerful. And I think Brie Larson and the young boy having to, in a way, stand in for all of humanity in that respect, do an amazing job.
Definitely.
Our next film will be The Revenant, starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
Alright. In the 1820s American wilderness, frontiersman Hugh Glass must try to survive against the freezing temperatures, hostile natives, ill-tempered bears, and even his own men.
So, I know that sounds like kind of a vague summary, but really that's it. Is the movie.
That's it. I ran into people right after the movie and literally, had tears. I wasn't sad. I was just tired.
It was hard. It's an arduous movie. Well, The Revenant might not be heavy on story, it's heavy on theme, and it is definitely heavy on spectacle.
It wants to make you feel pain. It just explores and displays every single level of pain that you could imagine, and Leonardo DiCaprio gives that, and that's why he's both of our picks for Best Actor, because although he doesn't play this super complex character, he does this very simple thing extraordinarily well.
Alright, from extreme heat to extreme cold, we're going to cover a movie that there actually is already a movie night of that Marcy, Kishkiel, Caroline Bindley, and I did when it first came out.
Jealous.
But now we're going to talk about it in the light of Best Picture and compare it to the others. And we'll get to hear Kit's thoughts on it. So, Kit, would you like to read the synopsis for Mad Max?
Making a routine run for oil in a post-apocalyptic desert wasteland, a group of prisoners and disillusioned workers attempt to escape their tyrannical warlord, leading to the longest car chase in film history. Yeah.
Well, I think, to be fair, it's the longest U-turn in
It's
film
the biggest
history.
U-turn. They turn around. And it is super cool. The women in there are totally BA.
Charlize Theron didn't even get a Oscar nomination for this movie. Brooklyn. Let's go to Brooklyn. So if you want to hear more thoughts on movie night or on Mad Max from the crew of Movie Night, you can check out our Mad Max Movie Night link in the description below. And with that, let's move on to Kit's least favorite, Brooklyn.
I Irish immigrant travels to the 1950s Brooklyn, where she is caught in a whirlwind of excitement and romance. However, she must choose between this new world and her old one.
Kit, do you have some thoughts on Brooklyn?
I have many thoughts on Brooklyn. Now, here's my thing with Brooklyn. I think it's a good movie. It's like a chick flick. It's like a good chick flick.
It's a movie full of chick flick cliches, all executed really well.
Really well.
Really
good
writing.
Nice story,
really good
writing,
acting.
Really good acting. That being said,
it's a really good Hallmark movie.
It's a really good Hallmark movie. And it should not be on the list for Best Picture. I think it's a great movie. I just think it does not represent the top 8 best movies this year.
Segueing from Kit's least favorite film, let's look on a lighter note. The Big Short.
An economic savant predicts the 2008 housing bubble burst. He and a few others find a way to bet against the market, meaning that an economic crash would make them rich. However, as they get deeper into the world of banking, they realize just how corroded the system is.
The overall point of the film is to take these really complex economic ideas and make them simpler for people who aren't as educated in the field of economics. And
it's a lot of complex ideas.
To some degree, it succeeds, but I don't think...
I thought it was incredibly comprehensive. And I'm so bad at econ. Just ask Miss Stanford.
I don't actually think it succeeded in that. I think it was confusing, and I don't think it was ever... While how they were doing what they were doing was making sense, like, here's how you trade, and here's how you bet on these bundles and all this stuff, how they actually made their money, I don't think was ever fully explained properly.
I think that the information they gave me got me through the movie. With Flying Colors, I understood the movie. And I feel like anything past that, I'd have to look into it. But it didn't mess with my comprehension of the movie itself. And I feel like if they wanted to delve into that more, if it was detrimental to the film, they would have, and it would have been even longer. And we've said it ourselves, it could have been a little more tight. What are we doing now?
Do you want to do Martian or Bridge of Spies?
Let's do Martian.
Alright, let's do the Martian. Kit, hit it.
Expedition to Mars goes wrong. The crew abandons the planet and leaves behind one of their own who they think is dead. Alone on a hostile planet without a way to contact NASA back on Earth, botanist Mark Watney must find a way to survive until help hopefully comes for him.
Now, I think this movie is by far the most fun.
Oh, yeah.
That you have.
It's a terrible topic. He's alone on a planet.
All of the movies
very heavy topics.
Are very heavy topics.
Yes.
And this is the most fun. I think it's light. I think Matt Damon is having fun. And you feel the gravity of the situation.
Oh, yeah. It's not lost on you. It's not like they're trying to pull back from it.
It's still intense. It still has stakes, but there is...
this lightness.
A levity to it.
Absolutely. No, Matt Damon is super funny. If you're looking for, to watch one of these films, and you don't want to be, depressed for the next couple of hours... The Martian. Or
if you want to watch Castaway, but not be depressed for the next couple of hours, it's Castaway in space. Except there's no Wilson. Not least on our list of Best Picture nominees is Steven Spielberg's Bridge of Spies. Kit, let's hear about it.
At the height of the Cold War, an insurance lawyer is recruited by the government to work between the USSR and the United States.
And that's a pretty vague. Once again, that's a pretty vague.
We don't want to give anything.
We don't want to give anything away, but Tom Hanks plays an insurance lawyer who is
just thrust into this crazy situation.
And he's put really between a hard place with between Russia and the United States, and it's all based on a true story, and the U-2 plane crash is in there, and all of these real events that you know about, but you don't really know everything that surrounded them. The Rosenbergs are mentioned a lot.
Yeah.
It's all really, really solid storytelling, and this is the strongest outing that we've seen in Spielberg in, I think, over 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice, pretty music.
It is
nice closing music.
Nice closing music.
So, that's been our Oscar Best Picture nominee movie night.
Yes.
With special guest, Kit Fitzgerald.
I like movies.
Be sure to check out our counterpiece in the previous issue of The Prospector, also on I believe it was issue 6 of the 2015-2016 school year, if you're watching this far in the future, in which case